Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. I've got an army of individuals here from the Bond community. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. First of all, who do we have here?
Joseph Darlington from being James Bond.
It's your good friend, head of section.
It's your good friend, head of section. You're a good buddy.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. And speaking of flesh, of the female and male nature, I don't even know what that means.
Neither do I.
Who do we have here?
Kyle Barbeau from Instagram's Easy Smiles and Expensive Watches, and just about any James Bond podcast out there, you may have heard me.
You show up to the opening of an envelope.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
I'm a very easy get.
And-
Last minute guest.
Last but certainly not least, hailing all the way from the beautiful state of Georgia. That's not true. Who do we have here?
Ray Crumfold from the Bond Armory, YouTube and Instagram.
Lovely. Well, gentlemen, you have been hand curated, mostly because you were the only ones that would show up. But also, we are enjoying 3 libations and a Camp Crystal Lake thing of water. So cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. What type of beer are we having for this?
This is Warsteiner Premium Pilsner from Warstein, Germany.
Kyle, I thought it was bad luck to cheers with water.
It is, but, you know...
Joe's had nothing but bad luck.
Joe's had a lot of bad luck.
The bad luck is he's fasting and we support him. That's why he's withering away. But listen.
He's our designated driver.
That's true.
Exactly. As much as we would love to talk about Joe's waistline, that's another video. We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of James Bond. And when this video is coming out, we are in the midst of the 60th anniversary. And, I thought, guys, I could do a video on sort of expectations, the beginning of the year when we first saw the logo, all the way through to today when we're doing this, which is mid-August, by myself. And I thought, let me get other perspectives. And we've got a lot of different ranges of Bond backgrounds and content creations. So let me start off by saying, when we first heard about there was going to be a 60th anniversary, we had that wonderful vintage Bond logo that came out. It was emblazoned on a lot of things, Burlington Arcade. Joe, let's start out with you. You knew there was going to be a celebration after No Time to Die. What were your expectations?
Tempered at best, I think.
Honest?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, given that we didn't see a whole hell of a lot for the 50th, frankly, which I thought is a little more of a, milestone.
That's a big one.
Quite frankly, that's certainly a big one.
What are you talking about? We got Skyfall.
Well, that's true. And with a logo at the end, that's it. 50th anniversary. So yeah, I was kind of curious to see what they would do, but I didn't have any massive expectations. I was not expecting like a big giant celebration.
Okay.
And even a part of me was kind of like, I wondered, do we even make a big deal of the 60th? Because I sort of feel like there were a lot of really great 50th anniversaries, like we kind of did sort of anniversaries of each film, the 50th, up until like On Her Majesty's, which again, mind-blowing, if you're a fan. So yeah, I kind of felt like why don't we keep doing the 50s before we kind of start talking about the 60s? So I kind of had sort of mixed feelings about it, but in terms of expectations,
Low expectations. Low. Ray, what about you?
Agreed. Low expectations, to tell you the truth. 50 is a big year. It's what are those numbers? 50, 100.
Yeah.
So 60, just another 10 years, and it was just the fact that they kept delaying, and putting it off. 60 doesn't seem like that big of a deal if it was a rounder number like 100, but it's still something to celebrate. It's another 10-year milestone, but wasn't really expecting much of it.
Okay, so I'm getting low and low, and it's interesting how they're seating. They got the good seats of the day. Kyle, what about you?
Well, it's difficult, I think, to celebrate the 60th with No Time to Die as the most recent film, just because of the way it ends. Whether you liked it, didn't like it, we're going into whether you liked it or didn't like it. Going into this year of celebrating the legacy and the history of James Bond, who we just saw die. It's a really strange time to reflect on the history of the franchise with that fresh in our minds. So, to answer your question, I am a little tempered, but I think when it gets a little bit closer to the actual anniversary of Dr. No, we're going to see a lot of celebrations of Dr. No.
Okay, so low, tempered. I think the cheese stands alone. I saw this logo, and maybe because of the ending of No Time to Die, I felt like there it is. There is the hope that Eon is painting. They had to deal with Amazon, and they couldn't have a dead Bond on their hands. It's not very good for business. This is it. They're going to take the 60th anniversary, and every single month, we're going to have fireworks, celebration, and moments. And as we sit here in August, as many of you know, we've had an Oscars moment. We'll talk about that in a second. Joe's chomping at the bit to talk about that. We've had a couple of brand moments that have kind of been sporadic. We've had some offerings from a logo standpoint. But frankly, the things that we've had thus far during a year of celebration, I did the little rabbit quotes because I thought it was literally going to be an entire year. What I'm hearing from you, Kyle, for example, and I'm hearing this from other people is, oh, no. They're going to celebrate the 60th anniversary in a small pocket of time, which probably hasn't occurred yet. Is that fair to say?
I think that's true. I think when we get to late September, early October, around the time that Dr. No was released, that's when we're going to see a little bit more of the hype. Yeah. I will say that the re-releases of the films that the UK has received, I'm jealous.
Well, let's start there too, because we'll jump back and forth a little bit and talk about some of the locations, because I could get on board with what you're saying, but Eon specifically put the 007 60th anniversary logo in all of their presentations, their social media, etc. And they did exactly what you said. In the UK, for you lucky enough to do it, they've been launching each one of the movies. I think it's every Tuesday, late afternoon, kind of a strange time, but there it is. And we here in the States are ridiculously jealous. What do we think about that announcement?
Yeah, no, very true.
Happy for them.
Yeah, oh, big time, 100%. I mean, again, the UK is the home of James Bond, so I think that's extremely fitting. Yeah, I do wish we would sort of all kind of get on board with this. Coincidentally, tomorrow, the day after we're recording this, they're showing Dr. No in the theaters. And I actually was...
Here is your crumbs, sir.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a great film, but you get all of them.
Great film. I mean, and I would have gone to see it, but honestly, first of all, I had another obligation tomorrow regardless, but I looked at the tickets, and the tickets were like $18 for like one seat in a regular theater. And
not in 4K either.
Not in 4K. They're showing just the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a print.
Right.
So I was like, okay. I mean, it would be nice to be in a room full of other fans who kind of came out to see the film, but it's not pulling me into the theater.
If there was a party or event associated with it, wrapped around it, you could get behind it.
I mean, anything. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do anything. Maybe they pulled somebody in who has like some memorabilia to show. I kind of doubt it because they're showing it in mainstream theaters, so I doubt they would go that far. But yeah, I mean, at the very least, I'm sure you could find a print of the film. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen a couple other of the films on film print that looked fantastic. It was great. I mean, I can watch the Blu-ray at home. I hate to say it. So, yeah, a little underwhelming.
What about you guys? I know, first of all, is anybody going to see Dr. No tomorrow?
I'm going to go.
Yeah? With anybody?
We'll see. I will see it alone, or if anybody wants to come with me, I'll ask friends, and hopefully they'll jump out and join me.
Yeah.
It's a Bond movie, and it's a great Bond movie. So any opportunity to see James Bond up on the big screen, I'm going to jump at it.
So that's it. I mean, it is a community thing when you can see it with multiple people, even strangers.
Yeah.
That's why I think there's so much, and I'm just going to say it. I'm going to look at the camera and be very transparent. There is a jealousy factor, I think. There are so many things. They just had a giant full-size DB5 Lego in London. They've had Bewley, who did all of the cars and the vehicles. They have the museum now, rightfully so. It's like you said, the home of James Bond. Mm-hmm. But there seems to be this gaping maw of nothing here in the States unless we create it. So you, Kyle, have a movie and you're like, I'm going to try to pull people in.
Right.
You're actually creating the best moment of that film then.
That's true. There's something special about watching Bond with a crowd or with other people. It's kind of like if we're flipping through channels and you come across a Bond movie, we all stop and watch it. We own these movies. We can stream these movies. Why do we stop and watch it when we come across it on TV? It's because other people are watching it too.
Yeah. Ray, what about you? You seeing the movie tomorrow?
Unfortunately, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have previous obligations, but I know you guys are going to have a great time because it's the fandom that makes those little things even bigger than they really are.
Yeah.
So just by seeing it with each other, you're hyping it up. You're going to be talking about it afterwards. Your own little party. It's really the fan base that keeps these things going.
So for you mathematicians at home, only 25% of this audience is actually seeing the movie tomorrow, and yet we're spitting tax at the people in the UK.
Yeah.
So I don't know who to believe. Is it us or is it us? I don't know. But one thing we do need to talk about, since we brought up the UK, and Joe, you and I, people should know, we love to give you behind the scenes. Joe and I did a video months ago on this very subject, and it dated as badly as Taylor Swift, because we said, oh, they're not even doing anything at the end of September and October, and lo and behold, they are doing things at the end of September, beginning of October. But I'm going to lay down the groundwork, guys, for a discussion, because it's all in the UK so far. I mean, the official stuff. Let me go through the roster, and then I want to get comments from you. So first of all, we've got the Christie's auction that's happening. That is in the UK. That's also going to be a live event, the auction itself. Property of a lady. We've sent a few ladies. He's the expert. I gotta let go of my ears. I know what I'm doing, Kyle says. I may have to edit that. That's an HR issue. The second thing is you have the BFI. You've got movies that they're showing at the BFI Center, which is the largest IMAX in all of London. Plus, they're doing an interview with Michael and Barbara. They're doing a stunt spectacular. They're doing a lot of different live interviews and discussions as well, which is pretty exciting. They're also going to have the new documentary called The Sound of 007 coming out, which is all about the music and the sound of 007. Then there's going to be a series of brand events, brand small parties, private showings, which right now I hear they're going to be in the UK and London. And then on, I believe Wednesday, the 4th, the day before James Bond Day, they're having the concert with Shirley Bassey, David Arnold, Garbage at the Royal Albert Hall. Tickets are nearly sold out. The only ones that are left are like £375. It's not cheap, but you get some champagne and some canapes. Not a can of peas, canapes. But, and there's going to be things dotted throughout. Gentlemen, everything I just said would need you to invest a lot of money and get on a plane. I'd like to get some reactions here, Ray.
Is any of it streamable from the US? We just go into the website and watch some of these live events.
It's a great question. Christie's. You can do that. Outside of that, I'm going to say no.
Well, that's a bummer for us, for sure.
Yeah. It's going to be a little quiet on this side of the egg. Kyle?
Unfortunately, just because we had that Thunderball celebration in the Bahamas earlier this summer, I am tapped out on vacation time, so I will not be attending anything in the UK. I wish I could.
Yeah.
London's my favorite city. Not this time. Can't make it work.
Yeah. Joe?
Ditto what Kyle said. Yeah, between new job having to reset that vacation time, which is kind of driving me a little nutty, and just things happening at home, it's going to be a very difficult time to try to travel, which is again kind of killing me. But yeah, so I'm gonna.
So let me paint the emotion in the room. So again, you mathematical people, 25% of us will be in London. So this is where I hope we're doing this the right way, single digit minutes into this. There's a little bit of agony going on here. Yeah. 60th anniversary, all these things are very location oriented. They're out of reach, at least from an official standpoint. But let me flip the switch, because you've all been kind of hinting towards something very interesting happened this year, and actually years past, is this bootstrapping of fans like us. Now today, we all wanted, as my wife calls it, a Bond play date. I swear, that's what she calls it, and it is. We're a bunch of boys with toys, clearly, but we have to create our own moments, especially if we're not geographically situated. So, for example, you just referred to the Bahamas. Now, I was shocked, still am, in mid-August here, that every Bond location in the world didn't sit around the mayors and the governors of those locations, and you and I have talked about this, and said, folks, every month leading to October 5th, Global James Bond Day, let's have an event in our city. Matera, Siena, all these places, Switzerland, going back to there, Jamaica, all these different places. I would have thought this would be the perfect year to bring tourism back. But the Bahamas was really one of the only ones that we saw thus far.
They did it right. I mean, they recognized their special connection with James Bond, which goes even beyond just Thunderball, and they rolled out the red carpet for Bond fans, and Bond fans were there to celebrate and take in the local culture and take in the food and have a good time, and we did.
And Bond fans, I'll say this until I'm blue in the face, Martijn Mulder, for example, they do it right.
Yes.
Because they know what Bond fans want. So Martijn put on this thing with the Bahamian Tourism Board. It was, it was an anniversary celebration of many different Bond films, but every event was experiential. And Joe, I'm going to call on you for a second because you've talked about these type of events literally changing your life.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that I feel like even as we're sort of kind of glumly talking about how we can't make it to a lot of these events, I am thrilled that they're happening. I mean, just the fact that they're happening is a major plus, because I feel like there's been a lot of things where just like it's been crickets. But yeah, I mean, going to these events when you can get there, it'll change your religion. I mean, it is that, and especially you mentioned some names. They do a spectacular job putting these things together. It's tailored to a Bond fan where you literally are saying to yourself, because you feel like anytime you see like sort of like if somebody puts on an event and they just kind of do a Bond themed event, let's say it's not an actual official Bond thing, we tend to go there and kind of go, boy, I wish they called me because I could have given them some good ideas and could have helped them out and could have really sort of done some fun things with this. The people that put these things together for us, boy, do they know what we like already, and they just blow your mind with some of the things they come up with. It's absolutely stunning, and you have to do at least one in your life.
Yeah, agreed. And here's the good news, and kind of, you're right. We're sitting here glum. We're going to try to lift the clouds of despair that we have because there's a few that are fan generated. And first of all, you've got Mr. Wood over at Shaken Not Stirred on Facebook, who's creating You've Had Your 60, and he has celebrities. He's showing Dr. No at Pinewood Studios. He's got a multi-day event. It's pennies on the dollar for what it costs people, but they get meals and food and games and costuming and all these wonderful things. And it's 3 days of Bond fans enjoying each other. And I've always said this, you could show up with a beer and Bond fans would enjoy themselves, because it's not like Star Wars where you need to build full-size AT-ATs and Jabba the Hutts.
Exactly, yeah.
Bond fans bring their own fandom to the table. And one of the things, for example, we've seen this happen and it pays dividends, is the French Fan Club. On October 9th, they're having a big event. It's a cruise where they're having some amazing celebrities, but it garnered, this is gobsmacked amazing to me, that garnered the attention of Eon. And because of that, Luc Lechec, who is the president of the French Fan Club, has been now asked to come to Eon House this Monday to interview Barbara and Michael at their offices.
Can't get bigger than that.
I mean, talk about, and now we're lifting ourselves out of the glum.
Yeah.
Fans being recognized for the powerhouses that they are, and the fan clubs. And then you've got other things brewing that by the time this video happens, I do know of one or two other things that's not public yet, of two fan events that are being percolated that will be announced. I don't want to jump the gun on this, in different locations around the world that are purely have been instigated by fans to celebrate the 60th anniversary. So what's happening here, guys? I mean, are the fans sort of spearheading this celebration? What do you think, Ray?
That's something that you and Joe both have been talking about for a long time, is how that you'd wish that Eon would do more as far as, generating the big buzz for the movies and the franchise. And it's usually the fans that do that. So like you've always wanted, it's really cool to see Eon starting to recognize that and kind of putting them up to this, you know, as you said, the spearhead of the fandom and having these events and getting the ball rolling for them.
Yeah, I agree. Anything that, even if Eon, you know, if they keep us at arm's length, that's fine. But even the sort of doffing of the hat of yes, you can, you know, type of a thing, I think is very exciting. But Kyle, what do you think?
The fans have gotten so good at bringing each other together for an event. I mean, where this is going to be a bastardization of a biblical quote, but where two Bond fans are gathered, it becomes a Bond event. That's kind of the way we roll. Two of us get together, three of us get together, four of us get together. It's automatically a Bond event. All it takes is the friendship, the camaraderie, and the mutual fandom.
Is that the Pulp Fiction quote where they shoot the living crap out of people? I thought I recognized it. Yeah, but Joe, I mean, you know, is this kind of, are we seeing the sign of the future?
I hope so. I feel like that, you know, when I hear that Luke DeClesh has been invited, I kind of feel like, wow. And that's a guy who really deserves it. I mean, he's, you know, extremely well known, and for many, many years, you know, spearheading his fan club. I had the honor of meeting him when I was in Switzerland for the first time.
Nice.
And everybody around they always called him, like, he was like, you either called him the boss or the mayor or something like that. Like he was, you know, he really earned his keep in the Bond world. So yeah, the fact that he's been acknowledged officially like that, I think is a real step forward and could very well be the beginning of good things.
Yeah, and he's such a positive force too. I mean, we love talking about, supporting, and obviously, you know, again, doffing our hat to people that are positive in the Bond community. It's not the Star Wars or Lego community that tends to get a little bit caustic. I do have to mention, just because you know this channel all too well, the brands themselves are fully on board, like the fans. Like I think they secretly and maybe not so secretly wish this could have been a year of celebration. And I know that they're looking to do things to do their own celebration. Some, for example, that we know very well, are going to be coming out with their own 60th anniversary celebration lines. Lock & Co., you know, for example, have already done it. Bollinger's done it. N. Peel, Olabar Brown, they're on the cusp of launching. And this gentleman's wearing one right now.
Mason & Sons, they've got a 60-piece 60th anniversary collection that they've been releasing piece by piece throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And
the brands are doing a good job.
They really are. The florists, I mean, the list goes on. Their offerings, whether you like those things or not, they're still having these moments. And I think they may even have these small mini events where we can kind of, you know, like you said, either stream or get behind or video or even share them. But I have a pitch for you guys, and you let me know what you think. Put on your Barbara Broccoli, Michael G. Wilson hats. I would have loved, looking retrospectively, for a situation where, obviously, early last year, even before the launch of No Time to Die, they sat back and said, we're going to have a hollow year. I mean, obviously, we're not going to make a movie the year after we launch No Time to Die, but we have a hollow year. It's the 60th anniversary. Let's really plan this out. So the very first quarter, we have a soft launch where we're getting in touch with the fans who create content. And not a few fans, you know, not like, oh, David Zaritsky and Luke, and no, bigger. You know, here's all this content. Here's unique pictures to have a soft launch. Here's some logos to get everybody kind of feeding in a very organic way. But each location, and hear me out, each Bond movie, pair them up so you have two Bond movies premiering every month in this year in a different location. So you have Dr. No in Jamaica, and that's where the premiere is. Whoever can get there can get there. They have a 2-3 day event. You know, I think you said maybe Istanbul.
Absolutely.
For From Russia with Love.
Definitely.
You know, obviously for the Bahamas, for Thunderball.
Yep.
This is where you have these mini premieres. And at the same time, they get in touch with the brands. And if the brands have a Thunderball type of offering, that's where you launch that offering.
What a great idea.
Dr. No, Mason & Sons has their suits. On Her Majesty's Secret Service comes halfway through the year.
Yep.
They release these suits. So this way you've got the movies and the launch is chronological, it's locational, it's fan-based, it's brand-based, and everything's coming together.
What a great idea.
It's rolling out like the
Fantastic.
franchise rolled out.
Yeah.
Right.
But no!
But they didn't do that.
By the way, my point is, Eon, I will resign today. Here it is, public. Sorry, boss, if you want to employ me. But I do have a personal question, because I'm going to start with you, Kyle. You did something very consciously today. You came in a very, you'll notice, shorts. This gentleman has flip-flops on. It's 90,000 degrees out, and this man's wearing a suit.
What are you talking about? This is how I always dress on a Saturday.
He does. This is what he sleeps in. But you're doing this also in a celebratory fashion. So there are many ways that we're going to celebrate the 60th anniversary.
Without a doubt. I mean, if you open your wallet, there's an easy way to celebrate the James Bond 60th anniversary. There's so many offerings out there to make it special for yourself. So use that opportunity to buy that Grail piece that you've been saving up for. Or this is a good opportunity to start saving up for that Grail piece. And then every time you use it, whatever it is, whether it's a watch, a piece of clothing, or it could be something for your house, you'll always think of that 60th anniversary of James Bond. That's where that came from.
I love that. And you'll probably wear this in a celebratory way,
Of course.
I would imagine.
Why not?
Too bad they're not showing on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
I wish they were.
Damn it.
I am fond of that film.
All right, so Ray, I'll call on you for this. 60th anniversary of James Bond. If nothing comes to your beautiful hometown, are you going to consciously celebrate it in a particular way? James Bond Day or something?
Always do James Bond Day, so probably if nothing happens, make the kids watch a Bond movie with me, have a good time, popcorn, make it a family event, that kind of thing. If can get together with a couple other friends or family, other Bond fans, sure, why not? Just make your own thing.
I
That's
actually,
wonderful.
yes, I love that the best, because brands, locations, events, this is all pocket money. What you talked about is something that just takes time, but it's actually quality time being spent with people.
No, for sure.
That's the one I think everybody should replicate.
Yes.
Try to bring somebody in that maybe hasn't seen a Bond film in a while, or, like nobody we know.
Those family moments are special.
Yeah.
Parents, you have to brainwash the kids early.
Yeah, start them
Oh.
young. Start them
Get
young.
him in early.
Doing parenting right is what he's doing. So Joe, I mean, hey, one observation before we started rolling film, like there's any film in this camera. I said to Joe,
There's as much film in that camera as the print of Dr. No I'm going to see tomorrow.
oh, zing! I'm here all day trying to feel. But that being said, I said it feels like you're back. Like your things are starting. Your video, you're enjoying editing again.
Yeah.
Will you consciously, at some point, either through video or your content offering, celebrate the 60th anniversary?
Yeah, I will absolutely do something when the time comes, for sure. I think in my time, I'll probably definitely bust out Dr. No and have a nice viewing, which incidentally I do from time to time. I think that's a great movie to unpack once in a while, sit down and just sort of watch it.
Me too.
Put yourself back in that time where it was. But yeah, no, I will definitely do something. I don't know what it is yet because I'm waiting for things to sort of unfold. So, but yeah, I think for sure it's definitely a milestone worth celebrating, worth talking about, and yeah, definitely something.
You guys have all said something too, and I know, Kyle, you're going to live it tomorrow. Does Dr. No seem like the obvious movie because it is the 60th, if you go back from a year standpoint?
I think because it's the first one, that's the one that we tend to look at for celebrations because it started it all. Is it the most iconic one? Probably not, but it is up there. And it's he survives and he gets the girl. Spoilers.
That's not a
Somebody still got
comment.
some hurt feelings. Up.
I don't know if that's going to die down. Well, again, for those mathematicians at home, 25% of us liked the ending of No Time to Die. Again, it's that all-important 25%. But yeah, I mean, Dr. No, the logical one to kind of focus on that day, even for the kids.
Yeah, I agreed with Kyle because it's the first. It's that much more iconic. Me with the kids, probably something a little more fun.
Moonraker?
Possibly.
What do you show the kids? Like, what's a good kid movie? Octopus.
Die Another Day.
Definitely not No Time to Die. Maybe GoldenEye even.
GoldenEye
I can
could
push
be.
them a little bit with some of the.
Yeah, even the spa scene is okay in GoldenEye.
Yeah, I might ask them to
No,
go
no,
somewhere
no.
else for a minute. Go get a snack, I guess.
What's a good kids Bond movie, Joe?
Moonraker obviously jumps out at me. I feel like that's probably pretty digestible for a young one. Brought a lot of young Bond fans into the fold in the first place. Dine of the Day, maybe. I want to say I feel like it's kind of got that fluffiness to it.
Yeah.
GoldenEye I think is a very good one because it'll catch them early with that bungee jump scene. I think.
It's got to have action.
Action, yes.
Unfortunately, I don't think it can be an older one
Yeah.
because it's like I was thinking, Man with the Golden Gun is just so gooey pizza, but
Right.
it's a little too slow at points and
Yeah.
may not kind of gravitate to them. But
Extra nipples.
the extra nipples, I mean, but that could be fascinating. Daddy, you're not the only one. Or Mommy, you're not the only one. It's the worst. Sorry. All right, so gentlemen, quick question here because I know that you've mentioned like the Star Wars fans, versus kind of the Bond fans in the past. There will be celebrations happening all over the world, and then it's over. All right. So the big question is, how do we feel beyond the 60th anniversary celebration? How are we going to keep up the momentum of this fandom and this franchise? And Kyle, I'll let you go first.
It's up to us to do that. I mean, it's watching your videos, it's watching Ray's videos, it's listening to Joe's podcast.
Best $5 I ever spent.
That's really what it is. It's up to us to keep Bond in the public consciousness and to keep that content going and to keep the conversations rolling about James Bond. So we've got some work to do, but I think we're up to it.
Absolutely. Ray, how are we going to keep it going?
You got to keep the momentum going. But yeah, just like Kyle said, I mean, it's the community that keeps it driving forward. There's always a podcast, there's always a video, there's a review of something that just to keep you occupied until the next phase.
Yeah. I will echo what you guys said. It's up to us to sort of keep that fire burning, and it's not always easy, but what is easy is that again, Bond is such a rich 25 films, and the tone sort of has a range where there's always something to talk about, always something to find new. I can't believe that as long as I've been a fan, I'll still hear like little bits of trivia here and there that I never actually heard before. And I'm like,
true.
wow. I mean, you think you've heard it all and you haven't. So yeah, I mean, it's Bond is. I'll turn this kind of on a funny note. My mother gave me a piece of advice when I was very young, and it's probably the one thing I remember that she said that always stuck with me.
Before that,
You'll
She
go
said-
blind.
Very good.
Yes.
You'll go fly.
She says, don't try to find someone that you will fall in love with and never, ever, ever fall out of love with. You need to find somebody who you can fall in love with over and over and over.
Wow.
And yeah, that stuck with me. I
It's
feel like
weird
Bond,
that she's been divorced 6 times, by the way. No, that is not true.
I'm
That was
down
Henry
at the
VIII.
casino with a cigarette. Bond falls into that. I think Bond is the kind of thing that you can rediscover over and over and over.
Yeah.
There's always something new, always a new angle. Something. So every once in a while, you just all of a sudden I'm craving watching this movie a little more than I used to, etc. So yeah, it is very easy to fall right back into the love of James Bond, and that I think that's why it stays with us as long as it does.
Wow, that is incredibly powerful. The only thing I will tweak further is, yes, I think the fans are going to keep the resonance and relevance alive during this sort of quiet time, but I do think that I like what I see from Eon, where, again, the French fan club, where they're starting to embrace people more. I was lucky enough to be part of the press junket for No Time to Die. Again, I'm a fan, I'm not a journalist, so what the heck was I even doing there? The more and more they kind of incorporate and see that we're all rowing the oars the same way. I think that's really going to help us moving forward. And the fact, and I'm just going to say it out there, it could be a t-shirt, Bond fans do it right. They understand what people want, and there's a lot to learn from them still. And there we go.
give the people what they want.
Oh, wow.
Couldn't have said it better. Well played.
Yeah, we're going to end it right there. So, Kyle, Ray, Joe, thank you for the conversation.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see what transpires, we'll hear an update from you on Dr. Now
Sure.
and who you bring. Ooh. I got my bets and theories. Who knows?
Acquiring minds.
Exactly. And this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care.
Take care.
Like,
Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.